Hey guys, welcome to Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews. I am your host, Boise, and we have a packed episode of Raw for you. Everything is facing to Survivor Series, which is happening this weekend. We have to find out the final two spots for the men's team, the Survivor Series team for the women's team, and the tag team as well. So with all that said and done, we have big announcements. Let's get straight on with this review. Let's hit the music. So we kicked off the show, which was supposedly going to be a battle royale for the tag team, Raw tag team captaincy for Survivor Series. It all started off pretty strong, all teams looking quite effective actually, and what happened, none other than Braun Strowman coming out, decimating every single tag team in the ring, so pretty much the whole tag team division yet again, and got a steel chair and demanded Baron Corbin. What did he get? Nope, he did not get Baron Corbin. He got Miss Lady Balls herself, Stephanie McMahon. And she made a deal with the monster. You do something for me, and I'll do something for you. And Braun's demands were quite extreme. He wants Baron Corbin. He wants to pick the stipulations for his match against Baron Corbin, and he wants Baron Corbin to sign a waiver, so pretty much Braun Strowman won't get into trouble for this. Stephanie agreed to all of this, and Braun asked for one other thing, a title match against Brock Lesnar, which Stephanie also agreed to. But for Stephanie, she wants Braun Strowman to win Survivor Series. She wants him to defeat everyone in the ring, including her brother, destroy her brother Shane O'Mac, and bring home the victory for Team Red. Baron Corbin comes out, and that does not help matters at all. He tries to interfere. Stephanie tells Baron to back off. Ronda Rousey also comes out. Now, Ronda and Stephanie, it's pretty much war of the words again. This is highlighting their feud, which happened at WrestleMania. It's been put in the back burner and now being pointed straight back in front of the cameras again. But these two do not like each other, so that could be interesting going up to WrestleMania. Baron Corbin tried to tell Ronda to calm down. Ronda cut a promo. It wasn't a good. This was a short and sweet promo how she's going to defeat Becky Lynch. Very much, crowd did not care. They were behind Becky. They cheered for when Ronda came out, but they absolutely cheered for Becky after Ronda cut her promo. Baron Corbin tried to hold her shoulder. She drags him down to the ground. She storms off. Baron Corbin is there in the ring with Braun Strowman. Stephanie McMahon has to separate these two guys. I forget how tall Baron Corbin is. He's the same height as Braun Strowman. You just don't expect it because you think Braun Strowman being a big man. You don't expect Baron Corbin to be the same height, but they are, which was surprisingly. They got separated, and that was the end of the open segment. I thought it was a really good segment. It really highlights how important Survivor Series is. It's a great way to build up storylines, especially for Braun Strowman. It allows him to feud with Baron Corbin until his match with Brock Lesnar for the Universal title, which I'm hoping Braun will win. And it also highlights the Ronda Rousey Stephanie McMahon feud, which we kind of forgot about for a while. So this is really good promo. It's a really great opening segment, which I was surprised about. The only thing which is a downside is the tag team division getting absolutely decimated at the start of the show. So with all that said and done, I'm going to give this a solid 7 out of 10. The only downside to it, like I said, was the tag teams. Next up we had Ember Moon, and she was taking on Tamina. Tamina's in her corner. She had her new BFF, her family member, Nia Jax, who, let's be honest, the feud is really going to be Nia Jax and Ember Moon. But this was a great match, guys. This was a typical type of match where Tamina is being used as a pawn for the bigger feud. It just felt like that, and the match itself never really took off, and that was the problem. I don't think it helped with the commercial break, which came in at probably the worst time. When we came back, the whole momentum kind of shifted, and it just felt really dragged out by the point when we came back to the show. But yeah, Tamina did get the victory. That was all thanks to Nia Jax getting involved, and then Nia Jax and Tamina attacked Ember Moon after the match, showing how, yeah, Nia Jax is completely heel right now. Like I said, the match really didn't have anything to really grip the fans with, and let's be honest, Ember Moon did all the work in this match, and that's fine. That's fine. Ember's a great competitor, but sometimes you want it to be something where both competitors can really show what they can do. Only one member really did that in this match, and end of the day, it's added to the Ember Moon Nia Jax match, but it's not doing anything for Tamina herself. So with that all said and done, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Next up, we have probably one of the best promos of Raw for the last couple of months, and this was Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Started off with Seth Rollins in center ring in an interview with Corey Graves, and this was great. Really, really well put together. This shows you what Seth can do. He's come a long way from that babyface no one really could get behind to the biggest babyface on Raw right now. He says, I don't understand Ambrose. He's smarter than he is. He knows exactly what his actions have done. That pans straight over to the big screen where Ambrose was sat on top of a car with a burning oil rig next to him, and him cutting probably the best promo ever. Pretty much saying, look, I've realised now being part of the Shield made me weak. And it was great. It just explores everything we wanted for this Dean Ambrose character. He doesn't care if destroying the Shield has made him unpopular, disliked by the fans. He does not care. What he cares about is making himself a successful wrestler. And he felt like being in the Shield, being part of a group, has not helped him do that, and that's why he did what he did. This is vague enough for a lot of fans to absolutely enjoy, but let's be honest, there's so much more into this rivalry which we could spend days and days and days analysing and trying to work out, but I cannot wait to it being revealed later on. You know there's going to be a big reveal later on. I'm going to give this segment a solid 8 out of 10. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins are showing exactly why they're two of the best wrestlers on Raw right now. Next up, we had a really good match. It started off with Kurt Angle's music hitting, everyone singing "You Suck." Turns out it was none other than Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, and they cut an absolutely fantastic promo, pretty much disrespecting Kurt Angle at an absolute vicious level. This was great creative. This was probably Drew McIntyre at his absolute best right now in promos. You can tell that the psychotic Scotsman is absolutely one of the best heels right now on Raw. Who comes out to defend Kurt Angle's honour? None other than Finn Balor, the man Drew McIntyre attacked last week here in the UK. Both men cut a fantastic promo. Finn's probably one of the best baby faces. He's a good worker as well, so this really made sense. Drew volunteered his partner to shove. There was some words in between that, pretty much stating, if you can beat the best in the world, who's Dolph Ziggler, I'll lower my level down to take you on. Very much interesting. You should have seen Dolph Ziggler's face. It was pretty much like, what are you saying kind of levels, especially with him volunteering him for this match, a match which Dolph had no interest in taking part on at first. The match itself was really well put together, both men really showing off why they are two great workhorses. It's pretty much saying, if it's like saying water's wet, fire's hot, Dolph Ziggler's going to have a good match, Finn Balor's going to have a good match, and that's what we got. It was a really good match. Finn was able to take out both Drew and Dolph, and that really gave him the advantage to get the pinfall. It was a quick pin, which allows the babyface to get some momentum. Interesting to see where this feud's going to go, and interesting to see how Dolph and Drew are going to cope, especially after Drew's words about Dolph before the match started. But yeah, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. Really well put together, guys. Next up, we had, and I've got to say, probably Ruby Riott's the best promo. So in this, we had the Riott Squad come out. They cut a very, very good heel promo right here. They talked about how they had backlash from the fans, the WWE staff themselves, and everyone for what they did last week here in the UK when Ruby Riott destroyed Natalya's father's sunglasses. Now for me, the first thing I was like, really? The backlash from the fans was the match ended and it was a no contest. Nothing happened. The match just ended, and that's why we were annoyed. Not because you broke sunglasses. We don't honestly care about that. But yeah, it was a really good promo from Ruby Riott. Her facial expressions, her mic skills just added to that kind of really good, sympathetic, turning it into heelish brilliance. Probably one of the best promos she's cut since coming to the main roster. Natalya snuck up behind her, attacked Ruby Riott while the Riott Squad were on top of the stage waiting for Natalya to come out. But unfortunately, numbers game just added to it. Natalya got taken out by the art attack by Sarah Logan and Ruby Riott. This is interesting. I'm really excited to see how this feud goes. It didn't blow off the roof of the whole arena, but what it did is it had sympathy for Natalya. It added massive heat for Ruby Riott, and it'll be interesting to see how this adds to a feud in the future. But for me, for right now, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because it was probably Riott's best promo. Next up, we got the Battle Royale we were supposed to get at the start of the show here, and this was the Ascension, the Revival, the B Team, Chad Gabel and Bobby Roode, Lucha House Party, and Slater and Rhyno. The winning team would captain Team Raw for their tag team for Survivor Series. Why God, this was lazy. This was poorly booked, and it felt this way. The whole Raw tag team division right now feels empty. It doesn't matter who won because every team which was in this Battle Royale have already been put into the Survivor Series team for the tag team division. So that again just makes no sense because it's like literally who cares who's the captain, because the tag team division feels so crap right now on Raw, and getting decimated by Braun Strowman at the start of the show just highlights how poorly this division really is. Chad Gable and Bobby Roode got the victory, so they're captains, which made no sense because no one's really invested in them. I think the only team who could legitimately feel like they are a tag team specialists are the Revival, who are a tag team specialist. So that was it just felt very rushed, very poorly booked. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10, mainly because it just feels like the creative team just don't care about the tag team division on Raw. Next up, we had another promo, and this one was Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, the new Universal Champion, the first ever 2-time Universal Champion, coming out. Good reaction from the fans here. Quite a lot of them were cheering, and then they kind of realised, oh wait, this is Brock Lesnar, and started booing him. Paul Heyman was excellent on the mic. Again, you expect Paul Heyman to be excellent on the mic. Let's be honest, he is the best talker in the whole damn company. But I've got to say, the best part of this whole segment wasn't the promo, it was the WWE creative team remembering that Jinder Mahal was supposed to be in the Survivor Series match against Brock Lesnar last year. You don't usually see WWE creative team remember anything like that, so that was good to see. Mahal comes out, he confronts Brock Lesnar, he says, I'm here to help you, I'm here to, because this time last year I was supposed to face you, I was the WWE champion, but AJ Styles stole my moment, and I'm here to help you. Great reactions from the fans. The fans were so behind AJ. AJ was only mentioned and the fans just turned for AJ. It was great. Brilliant. Brock Lesnar invites him into the ring to help him, center himself. And he destroys the Singh brothers and F5s Jinder Mahal. I thought this was fine. Very typical for a Brock Lesnar segment, especially on Raw, where Paul Heyman does all the talking. Brock did some talking on the mic, which was good, makes a difference. And so for me, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10, mainly because, again, it's Paul Heyman that is best. So Paul Heyman's promos always get an 8 out of 10. But it was a very typical Brock Lesnar promo. Next up, we had Bobby Lashley versus Elias. The winner of this match would be added to the Survivor Series team. This was a really short match. I can see where the creative team was going for this one. Both men really going all at it. They went out to the ring. The referee did a 10 count, and Lio Rush held Elias down so he could not get into the ring in time. This was really much protecting Elias, I felt, and protecting Bobby Lashley. Elias obviously took out his frustrations on Lio Rush, beating the crap out of him, then chucking him at Bobby Lashley. For me, I can't really complain too much. The creative team really, it was a smart move for them. It protects both men. The only thing is, I really like Elias right now being a babyface. Momentum right now is so behind him. It's just, I can't have too much complaints, but I can't give too much positive because the match was very, very short for what it was. It can definitely, hopefully, build up a feud between Bobby Lashley and Elias in the future after Survivor Series. I think that could be a great feud, especially help both men. Elias really finding his way as a babyface, and Bobby Lashley trying to get more and more aggressive as a heel. So for me, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. Just watch the Elias opening segment because that is absolutely hilarious. Elias is really good at doing stuff like that. Next up, we had Alexa Bliss announcing the Survivor Series team for the women for Raw, and this was really good. This was Alexa Bliss at her best. She announced that it would be Nia Jax, Mickie James, Tamina, and Natalya. Natalya got sent home after her match because she was upset of what Ruby Riott had done, and Alexa Bliss wanted her to go home for, to set her mind and get ready for Sunday. But the final member would be determined through a match, and that would be between Sasha Banks and Bayley. Now I've got to give Bayley and Sasha Banks props because they had a damn good match here. Had a really good match, and I was actually getting more and more invested. I thought, alright, we have seen Bayley versus Sasha a few times, but this was actually for something. It actually had a purpose. It looked like Sasha Banks was going to get the win after Bayley tried to use the elbow drop. It failed. Sasha Banks put into a bank statement, and next thing we know, Tamina, Nia Jax, and Mickie James attack both women. The match ends in no contest. Alexa Bliss comes out laughing. Neither woman finished the match. Neither woman won. The final member of Team Raw is Ruby Riott. This was a really interesting turn of events. The match itself, I thought was great. I thought it was really creative, but it just felt a bit of a shame not using Bayley and Sasha Banks, who probably are two of the biggest baby faces on Team Raw, and not using them at Survivor Series. It just felt a bit, like you're losing something right there, especially when you've got Mickie James and Tamina, who for me, personally aren't the strongest wrestlers on the Raw brand right now, and them being in the Survivor Series just feels a lackluster. But then, next thing we know, we jump backstage and we see Becky Lynch, the SmackDown Women's Champion, putting the disarmer on Ronda Rousey. The Raw Women's team are in the ring. They're watching. Next thing we know, Becky Lynch's music hits and Becky comes out confronting the whole Raw Women's Survivor Series team. She's walking down, cockies out. The whole arena goes mental. Becky Lynch has got huge momentum at this point. Next thing we know, the rest of the SmackDown Women's division comes out of nowhere and attacks the Raw Women's Survivor Series team. Last few members of the Raw Women's division comes out. They get absolutely decimated by the SmackDown division, and Becky Lynch gets a bust nose, and there's blood everywhere, and this really adds to Becky Lynch's badass attire. Ronda Rousey comes out, she takes out the Iconics. Becky Lynch has a chair and just absolutely destroys Ronda Rousey. Crowd, on the other hand, the crowd, who you'd expect the creative of going, well, Ronda comes out, she's injured, but she comes out to save her Raw team. No, the crowd do not care about Ronda Rousey at this point. They honestly just want Becky Lynch, and that's who they cheered for throughout this whole segment. Becky destroys Ronda, she goes up, they all walk out of the arena. Becky Lynch is like that, busted nose and everything, and the crowd are still going mental for Becky Lynch. You see a quick backstage segment where Stephanie McMahon is tearing Baron Corbin a new one, asking why did this happen, and Baron just couldn't give her an answer. And that was pretty much the end of the show. Really strong end to the show. The SmackDown invasion really helped this. So for me, I'm going to give this a solid 9 out of 10. Becky Lynch is a badass. She's pushing the women's division on both brands right now, and you just can't blame it. So there you go, guys. That was Raw for this week, and it was an absolutely stacked show. So right now, we know for the men's Survivor Series team, we've got Bobby Lashley, Finn Balor, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, and Braun Strowman. As we know, we've got the tag teams who were in the Battle Royale as the Raw tag team for the Survivor team, and for the women's Survivor Series team, we know we've got Natalya, Ruby Riott, Mickie James, Tamina, and Nia Jax. I think this whole episode really did build up great for Survivor Series. I think they had very little time and they had to do something dramatic. Becky Lynch is the best part of this whole episode. Becky Lynch was the best part of it all, in my opinion. I'm going to give this week's episode an 8 out of 10. Worth checking out, guys. If you do like our videos, please like, subscribe, and press the bell to keep notified. And give us a comment underneath, guys. Tell us what your favourite part of this week's episode was. Leave it in the comments below. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do it at SmackTalkYouTube. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Boise88. And I'll see you guys next time on Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.